Then I heard my wife screaming. And I'm like, what? I thought it's thieves have come to the house. Then I just saw Citizen, a flag saying Mr. President Uhuru Kenyatta. I went back to sleep.
I, Uhuru Kenyatta.
Kenyan historian debriefs Kenyatta's path to State House.
That's how we start our journey with the president.
I see another young man in the name of Uhuru Kenyatta. And I ask, why not?
Prince to King.
Our nation has now successfully navigated the most complex general election in our history. Achieving peace and strengthening unity will be the goal of my government.
I felt disappointed, as of course anybody would feel, that I had lost. But I also felt it was my responsibility to accept that I had lost, and I did.
Thank you.
Mimi Mwai Kibaki naapa kwamba nitatenda kazi zangu za urais wa Jamhuri ya Kenya kwa uaminifu.
When he's leaving, you have some moments of anxiety, personal anxiety. What will it be? What kind of regime is coming in? Is this going to be a situation where there's victimization? Or is this going to be a situation where the rule of law will be followed, that a new government is going to come in?
He, exhibited strong leadership and put the country first by conceding defeat.
So whichever way it went, everybody was happy. In fact, people were happy for Kibaki to win and then nurture Uhuru and groom him for the future.
I accept the choice of the people, and in particular, now concede that Mr. Mwai Kibaki will be the third president of the Republic of Kenya.
It was some kind of an insurance that even after Kibaki, we would still have a formidable figure who can step into Kibaki's shoes.
Coming second in the presidential race and having won the Gatundu parliamentary seat, he became the official leader of the opposition in parliament.
Uhuru is the kind of person who will fall, wake up, dust himself, and move on. Remember the first time he ran in '97, he lost. He got up, dusted himself, and moved on. In 2002, he challenged Mwai Kibaki and lost. Got up, dusted himself, and moved on.
Cracks in the Mwai Kibaki NARC government would, however, hand him an easy job.
It was infighting within government. The opposition of KANU was not felt because there was opposition within. Now, the mistake we did as politicians and leaders for this country is the politics of deceit. We cheat each other. Backstabbing. These are the things that is haunting the country. And that's why after Kibaki was sworn in, the gates were closed. And the gates were closed by one person called Matere Kereri, the controller of State House. These are the new operators.
This will be, yes, it will be like this, and yes,
Then came the push for a new constitution that left the NARC government disjointed. 2005, Kenyans are headed for a referendum vote. Mwai Kibaki, with the helping hand of Attorney General Amos Wako, has just altered the Bomas draft of the constitution. Progressive proposals have been expunged, and the new Wako draft is stirring controversy and divisions. A disgruntled group of the NARC government has opposed the Wako draft of the constitution, joining KANU and Uhuru Kenyatta to oppose it.
He was under immense pressure, I must say, to go to the yes side. But I think his decision was that history will judge us.
We were part of that no side. Joe Nyaga, Kamodo, even the late Charles Jonjo, myself, JB Muturi, we were all part of that no side, including at that time Rigathi Gachagua. And we knew we were with the rest of the country.
When he led us into ODM and we followed him into ODM, he went alone with a few of us. The people of the mountain remained behind. And the result was there in the referendum in 2005. The people of the Mount Kenya, voted for the Ndizi.
At the ballot, the orange team carries the day.
So the image that comes out is that the banana side was really not serious. And because there were maybe some things in that draft constitution that they themselves did not want. And notice that Kibaki was very quick to concede, say, the motion is, the draft is lost. People have rejected it.
I remember that time I was with Kibaki. We went with the government, with banana. Why? Because for us women, you see this thing of 2/3, we would have finished it at that time. Because we had gotten the district seats. And remember, we had so many districts. And so we were going the Ugandan way, where they've taken districts to be constituencies of women, where women compete for themselves. That issue of 2/3 gender today would be a gone case.
Fellow Kenyans, following the results of the referendum, it has become necessary for me, as the President of the Republic, to reorganize my government to make it more cohesive and better able to serve the people of Kenya. Accordingly, in accordance with the powers conferred upon me under the Constitution of Kenya, I have directed that the offices of all ministers and all assistant ministers become vacant. Consequently, the occupants of the said offices cease to hold their respective offices with the immediate effect.
Ahead of the 2007 general election, the Orange Movement transforms into a political outfit.
Na sisi tuko tayari kama wanachunga kwenda nao mpaka kule katika debe.
The Odinga-led movement was mounting a serious challenge against the incumbent, Mwai Kibaki. Uhuru was initially a member of this camp, but opted out.
In fact, I had serious discussions with him. He said, we have lost our people. You know, we are not in tandem with the thinking of our people. And I think we need to adjust.
His advisors, among them David Murathe and J. Muturi, the current State House Chief of Staff, advised him going against President Mwai Kibaki could hurt him in the future.
After very serious consultation and soul-searching, he made a very bold decision. And it was the right decision.
The quest was not for him becoming a leader. The quest was, what can we achieve? What is achievable?
In the end, Uhuru will be cautious. Dropped his presidential ambition. Left the Orange Democratic Movement.
After the 2005 referendum, these are the people ganged up. Kumbuka the one who was saying Wembe ni ule ule, right? The same way we defeated them in the referendum is the same way we're going to defeat them in the general election. So, to a large extent, Uhuru felt obligated to support Mwai Kibaki.
And rallied behind the re-election bid of Mwai Kibaki.
And the thinking was, if a new person came in, he would do 10 years. But if you support Mwai Kibaki and he wins, he's going for 5. And that informed, look, would you rather wait for 10 or wait for 5? And then of course the community interests, all right? And that is how now Uhuru emerged as a defender of the community, and Uhuru also emerged out of that decision. He captured Kibaki's base. Remember in 2002 they had split. All the way from Nairobi to River Chania had gone with Uhuru. From Chania River towards Nyeri, Meru, Embu, they had gone with Kibaki. So that in itself just consolidated the entire, he inherited the entire Kibaki block and his own block.
Nikukumbushe ya kwamba hata wewe ulikuwa life member wetu wa chama hii yetu ya KANU.
Na mimi sikufikiria KANU watakuja tufanye kazi pamoja, na ninawaomba tafadhali, nawaomba kura yenu tafadhali. Thank you sana. Asante. Asante sana. Asante sana.
So for him, he played the game. I have an interest. The interest of my people is this. And so where they are leaning to is to Mwai Kibaki, where their interests are. And so I can't go against the grain. I have to join them and work with them and support them and build them and fight for them. And I think it was a very good move and a good strategy, as you say.
And therefore, it was now, there was no doubt after Kibaki who the leader of the community was going to be. So it was strategic.
It is just a few minutes to 7 p.m. Kenyan time on Sunday, the 30th of December 2007. Chief Justice Dr. Evans Gisheru is summoned to conduct a nightfall ritual at State House, Nairobi.
Mimi Mwai Kibaki naapa kwamba nitakuwa mwaminifu kwa Jamhuri ya Kenya na kuitumikia kwa moyo wangu wote.
A ceremony with a heavy stench of impropriety.
Nitailinda na kuitetea katiba ya Kenya.
President Mwai Kibaki is being sworn in for a second term after controversially winning the hotly contested 2007 election.
I call upon all candidates and Kenyans in general to accept the verdict of the people.
It will be the beginning of Kenya's darkest hour. Violence. The country is literally burning. Kibaki had been sworn in less than 2 hours after the declaration, shortly after 4 p.m. by the Electoral Commission that he had won a second term.
We didn't take long. At Pentagon, I was watching those screens we had fixed up there. The announcement came. Kivuitu announcing the winner is Mwai Kibaki. The entire Pentagon House was into mourning. They simply broke down. Some of them even collapsed.
You know what has happened in the last election?
I mean, I remember I had to be involved in first aid on some of them, because that was the last thing to expect. That was the last thing to expect, because that election was won by the orange team.
Events of the day and investigations that followed revealed that the Electoral Commission conducted a sham election.
You, sir, both of you gentlemen, were wise to come to the conclusion to appoint IREC instead of trying to do a recount. That would be impossible. To put it bluntly, nobody will ever be able to say who won or who lost this election. It was simply too bad before any results got to the KICC.
Over 1,000 people are killed and over 600,000 others displaced. To prevent the situation falling into a further crisis, and after lengthy mediation talks led by former UN boss Kofi Annan, truce is reached and a coalition government is formed. Mwai Kibaki becomes president, Raila Odinga prime minister, and Uhuru Kenyatta and Musalia Mudavadi his two deputies. Uhuru was also appointed Minister for Trade.
They created the position of the Prime Minister and two deputies. One of the deputies was going to go to ODM, which Raila gave to Musalia Mudavadi. The other one was a fight actually between Martha Karua and Uhuru. But Kibaki was clear, Martha was part of PNU, which was Kibaki's party. And the partner who supported PNU was KANU, and Uhuru was the leader of KANU. So Kibaki picked Uhuru over Martha Karua.
January 2009. The Deputy Prime Minister is moved to the finance docket. Kenyatta would oversee unprecedented spending on infrastructure. In his budget speech for the fiscal year ending in June 2011, the finance minister allocated 182 billion shillings, or 18% of the government spending plan for road, railway and energy projects.
During his time as the finance minister, you realize he really supported Kibaki in terms of advice. I think he gave good advice, because many people say in Kibaki's time there was not this, but they forget the person who held that docket was one Uhuru Kenyatta.
Usijali dini yake, wewe umtakie mwenzako amani.
David Murathe says being in cabinet during the Grand Coalition government prepared him for the future. He was heavily involved in the campaign for the 2010 constitution. But a few months after the promulgation of the new constitution, ICC delivered what appeared to be a hammering blow to Kenyatta's presidential ambition.
Mr. Kenyatta, would you kindly stand up and introduce yourself?
15th of December 2010, ICC Chief Prosecutor Luis Moreno Ocampo is reading names of the suspected perpetrators of the murderous post-election violence after the 2007 vote. Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto are on his list of 6.
Mr. Kenyatta's role was to facilitate the activities of the Mungiki, and Mr. Mudavadi and Ali's role was to let them to commit the crimes. William Ruto and Henry Kosgi, leaders of the Orange Democratic Party movement, began preparing a criminal plan to attack those identified as supporters of the Party of National Unity, in particular in the area of Rift Valley.
But Kenyatta and William Ruto will turn the ICC predicament into a political weapon.
Mwaka ujao, mapenzi ya Mungu, tuunde serikali ya URP na TNA. Munakubaliana na sisi ama mnakataa? Muungano wetu sio muungano wa matusi, lakini ni muungano wa kuhakikisha ya kwamba shida za kikawaida ambazo zinatukumba tunaweza kuzitatua kwa njia ya kujadiliana pamoja, lakini sio kwa njia ya kuingiliana kama viongozi.
It is what brought together the Uhuru-Ruto alliance.
Haya ndugu yangu.
Now the fact that both of them appeared to be victims of international machinations had the effect of pulling them together. They are both victims of imperialistic undertakings. And so they have something in common, they have a common enemy.
And instead of diminishing their influence and popularity with the population, it had done the exact opposite.
Would you speak a little bit louder, Mr. Ali?
Oh yeah, the ICC issue was in their favor, openly in their favor.
The Jubilee Coalition's successful branding of Uhuru-Ruto's ICC cases as a neo-colonialist Western tool to subdue Africans became as brilliant as it was effective. Uhuru and Ruto used the same misfortune as their claim to credibility, playing the victim card all the way to State House. Then came public adoration. The Digital Boy slogan attracted many. My name is Enoch Sikoli, and this is the Kenyan Historian.